So there are three principles or laws we frequently talk about when we are communicating certain meanings through the product appearance. So the first law is form follows function, the second law is form follows meaning, and the form follows emotion. So functional aspects can be conveyed through the appearance. Again, it is related to semantics, but I am not going into detail about this particular law. Rather, we are more interested here into this the third law, that is form follows emotion. So form follows emotion talks about how products and its appearance can convey different emotional meanings like happy, joy, sad, disgust, etc. through the appearance of this particular product. Here we are talking about the form follows different meanings, emotional meanings. For example, in this case study I tried to present the variation of two meanings. These are passionate and cute, depending on the shape of the perfume bottle. You can see the statistics here. So how different appearance of the perfume bottle carries different emotional meaning. So these are the changes in meaning. Mean variations are presented here in this figure. Yeah, so this is direct expression of emotions through a product. Basically, this is a paperweight with four faces, and these four faces were expressing different emotions like pleased, very pleased, anger, and sad. This is very useful product, as well as is expressing the emotions, human emotions directly. So here the approach is anthropomorphism. By definition, anthropomorphism is the attribution of humanness into the non-human objects. So here the human-like facial expressions were used to design this product. Look at this figure of the car. This is basically BMW Wolf design. So if you look at this car face, you might perceive the aggressive kind of expression into it. So aggression is again this kind of emotion that designers had tried to express through this car face or car form. To better understanding about the human emotions, let's just talk about how emotions can be evolved in human beings. So by definition, human emotions are the feelings which are associated with the mental and bodily changes. So emotions may be both conscious and unconscious. Emotions originates from different parts of the brain. Emotions affects attention and process of the information. It may influence motivation and behavior of a person. It is one type of affective state. This is another definition of emotion, affective state, which is associated with different moods, sentiments, and personality of the human being. When I am saying the emotions are conscious or may not be conscious, non-conscious or unconscious, that means when we understand the situation or context, that time also we can have a special feeling or special emotion, as well as sometimes what happens, we perceive different emotions before understanding. For example, suppose you are walking on a road and somebody who is unknown to you, if smile at you, immediately what you do? You replied with another smiling face. So even if you don't know that person, so it's very quick processing, emotional processing is happening as per my example, and it's unconscious in nature. So before understanding, you feel happy and then again you are replying back in my example. So it's unconscious. So I said emotions are originating in different parts of the brain. So basically the brain part is called amygdala. Amygdala is very much associated with the emotional signal processing in the brain. Apart from amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, visual cortex, again the hippocampus, then we have different other parts of the brain such as the hypothalamus and thalamus. All these parts are related to human emotional signal processing. So that's the thing here. So I said emotion may influence the attention. For example, suppose somebody is sad and crying sitting at a particular place among many other persons present at the particular situation. Immediately your attention diverted into that sad person. So it has influence. So I hope you understand from my example what I mean to say here. Then I also told about the emotion might influence the motivation. So for example, student motivation. Suppose some student is awarded with gold medal. So that time actually the student is feeling happy about this fact, and due to that what happens, he or she got motivated towards more learning and education, as this reward is given to that particular student. So it has this quality, emotion has quality. If people finding happiness into some event, or it might be related to some product, then they got motivated. Okay, so these are the basic emotions. So long back in 18th century, specifically in 1859, the great philosopher, biologist, the Charles Darwin has mentioned in his great book, which is The Origin of the Species, about these 6 emotions, and he said these 6 emotions are very universal in nature. It present across different species. So let us see what are these emotions: anger, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. So these are the 6 universal emotions present across different species. The immediate example is dog. If you can realize it very much if you have any pet like dog or cat. So they express their emotions through different behaviors, and sometimes through different facial expressions as well. So yeah, so it's universal in nature. So facial expressions are very much associated with understanding of different emotions. You can see at this, look at these faces, and you can perceive these 6 universal emotions immediately by looking at these facial expressions, right? Theories of emotions. So this is the theory developed by James and Lange. So James Lange, as two scientists, they proposed this model about the processing of emotional signals or stimuli. So according to this model, emotional stimulus are perceived by the human being, and then some bodily changes happened, and then we perceived that bodily changes. So that is the emotion as per their definition. But this theory has limitation. Later on, Cannon-Bard explained emotions are not only related to the bodily changes, emotions are also related to the mental changes that we can't perceive sometimes. This is one of the important model we should follow for better understanding of human emotions, how different emotions are composed of. This model explains that. This is the circumflex model of emotion proposed by Russell in 1980. So according to this model, each and every emotion is composed of two factors. One is arousal, the other thing is valence. Valence is the subjective quality of the emotional response specific to the stimuli. So for example, pleasantness, unpleasantness, etc. So arousal is the bodily changes, and the degree of bodily changes rather. So we can define different sort of emotions using these two factors. So if we talk about this high arousal level of the valence, so that is the ultimate happiness. Theories of